you ever heard of a children's book called Stone Soup? Because I'm really reminded of it today as I visit the garden. Now, the premise of the book, from what I can recall, it's been a long time since it was read to me in school, was that a traveler is traveling along the road at night and knocks on a woman's door and she takes him in. Definitely set in the past. And he's hungry and he tries to convince her to make something to eat, and she says that she doesn't have anything. And so he tells her that he's going to tell her the secret of making soup from a stone. Basically what ends up happening is that he plonks it into some water and then convinces her to go looking around the house and garden for bits and bobs to make it a little bit tastier. And she goes out and finds a soup bone, and then she goes into the garden where she said that there was nothing growing, and she finds carrots and potatoes and all kinds of lovely veg to put into the soup. And it turns out wonderfully, and she's amazed. Now, I'm amazed too because it is cold. It is brown, it is wet and soggy. And you don't really think that there's that much in the garden this time of the year. It's December, for goodness sakes. But I've come up here to have a look at my Chinese garlic that I planted a couple weeks ago. Check out that video. It's a bit funny. And I noticed that I've got quite a bit growing. So I've picked some turnips, some beetroots, some Chinese cabbage, carrots as well, and I'm going to make a feast of a roast veg dinner tonight, which is great because we're putting up our Christmas tree, so it'll be a nice way to celebrate afterwards. Other things that I noticed happening today at the allotment is lots of weeds. So I've got to come back, and I've seen a lot of not so much perennial weeds, but just little weeds that have popped up, and need to keep on top of those. And then also, I have been running a little bit of an experiment this year with my New Zealand yams, so the Okaz. If you've not heard of them before, they are a type of South American tuber, and they look like pine cones, colorful pine cones, and they taste like lemony, kind of citrusy potatoes. So if you've ever had sorrel, they taste like that. And in fact, the leaves taste like sorrel too, and you can pick them as it's growing and use it in soup and salads, etc. So I've got some growing in the allotment, and I've also got some growing in the greenhouse. And I realized recently when I was in the greenhouse that just brushing away the top layer of compost over the plants, and there were tubers popping up already at the top. So hopefully down further below there's even bigger and plumper ones. Now, the real seed company here in the UK, Grow Oka, and you can get your supplies from them. They actually recommend waiting 2 weeks after the foliage has died down after a hard frost to dig up the tubers. And in their experience, the tubers have actually swelled in size to double their size in that 2 weeks. So I'm definitely going to be giving that a go. And so I've taken the plastic cover off of my Oka here at the allotment. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to have another frost very soon. That foliage will die down, and hopefully the tubers will suck the nutrients back down into them. And then I will dig them up very, very soon, and we'll see how those go. The last thing that I'm doing while I'm here, because the light is actually getting quite dim, is I'm going to be visiting my bees, and I'm doing that in just a second. Now, it's been cold, really cold, and I'm a little bit concerned about the draft coming in through the entrance of the colonies. And I put a mouse guard onto each, but today I'm going to take the mouse guards off and replace it with an entrance block. And what that does is it restricts the amount of air and wind coming in through the entrance. It leaves a little tiny space for the bees to come in and out of, but they're not really going to be flying around too much this time of the year. And hopefully that will keep them a little bit more snug inside the hives. I've also brought some duct tape, so I'm going to duct tape the back entryway for the varroa floor, and that should reduce the draft a little bit more as well. And if it does stay mild as well, I have another idea to help reduce any chance of damp and moisture, but we'll visit that again in a future video, maybe in a week or two. Now, last week's video, if you haven't checked it out, was actually really cool. Much different from my usual videos. I was invited to go to the Garden Media Guild's award luncheon, very swanky affair, and met some very inspiring people. So Charles Dowding, Carol Klein, some bloggers that I've connected with over the years as well, and got some great advice as to using no-dig on a New Zealand flatworm infested plot. Yes, I have them and not very many worms. So I'm doing more research, reading up, and hopefully by next year my entire plot will be no-dig. I'm still trying to figure out how I will be growing things like the oca and the potatoes, etc. But I can make it happen. I'm pretty confident. So we're going to be doing that, and check out that video if you haven't seen it. It's actually kind of funny because I'm a little bit of a fangirl at first when I meet Carol Klein, and hopefully there should be a thumb or something that pops up on the screen so you can just click on that and head over and give it a watch. So anyway, I'm going to go down and check out my bees, put in those entrance blocks, and get on with things. Go get my Christmas tree. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I've got some more gardening videos in store for the next few weeks as well, running up to Christmas even. So I'm going to be bunging in some supports for my thornless blackberries, I think, next week, and show you how I'm going to be doing that. And yeah, so I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching.